Ministry of Education, I have a bone to pick with you. Why are so many Jamaicans ignorant of their own history? Why so much dunce people in my comment section? Oh my God, people, stop it. The Jamaican accent is not an African dialect. The Jamaican accent, like everything associated with modern Jamaican heritage, is in fact the byproduct of the cultural melting pot that our motto embraces. In fact, in terms of cadence, it's most similar to an Irish accent.
I've been shook enough now, to be honest, since the racing. A bit tired now and the legs are like jelly, but yeah, I suppose we did a bit of celebrating and did the podium thing and got to put on the podium pants as well.
You see, as early as 1656, Oliver Cromwell ordered 2,000 Irish children to be taken to Jamaica and sold to English settlers. The extent of Irish immigration to Jamaica was so prolific in the centuries to follow that 25% of Jamaican citizens can claim Irish ancestry, and this includes Bob Marley and Marcus Garvey. So if you never know, now you know. Again, out of many, one people.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and leave a comment because I always enjoy hearing your opinions. Have you ever seen one video completely divided a nation? I mean, one person speaks for just few minutes and suddenly everyone has something to say. Well, that is exactly what happened. A Chinese Jamaican woman made a comment about Jamaica accent, Jamaica identity, and who should be considered a real Jamaican. Within hours, social media exploded. Some people agreed with parts of what she said, but many others strongly disagreed. So guys, let us watch this video until the end, then I will come back with more comments.
My fellow Jamaicans, me come for drink milk, but be there cocoa. It is abundantly clear to me that there are people who live foreign and identify as Jamaicans, but you don't have one of these. And while you're entitled to your opinion, one is a set a rascal does. So let me set the record straight. Number one, Jamaica is not an African nation. It's not a black country. We identify as an ethnically diverse society. People, please just stop it. Out of many, one people, Jamaicans. We do not hyphenate and we do not encourage separation by race. Number two, this one's mine. This is my granny own. This one is my mom's. And this is grandpa. Yeah, it's hardcover. Grandpa died a long time ago. If you are planning a trip to Jamaica and you don't own one of these, you're going to have to book a return flight from where you came. These are the rules. I'm just laying it down for you. If you go to Jamaica and you don't have one of these, immigration will stamp your passport and give you a set amount of time that you're allowed to stay in Jamaica. And if you overstay your welcome, we put you back on a plane and we send you back. You, not me, you back to the country from which you came. There are so many Jamaicans ignorant of their own history.
Why do people from other races always want to be the historian for black people? Mama, you hear me? Leave Jamaican black people history alone. Tell us about your Chinese history in Jamaica. See me? Tell us why your family left your massive country of 3.7 million square miles to come live in a country that is just over 4,000 square miles, to set up shop in poor communities to live off of black people. Tell us why. Give us the blood-clad history on that. You all have made your riches and your wealth from these poor black people. No, Tell me something good that you've given back to these poor black people. Tell me something great that you've done for these poor communities. You've been in Jamaica for centuries, living off poor black people. Without black people, you would be nothing. Some of these stupid poor people neglect buying from their own people just to come and support you and your family at your store. Yet still, most of you don't have a black friend. See me? The most black people you guys speak to are the ones that you employ. And you watch them like a hawk to see if they're gonna steal from you. You will never see Mr. Chin and his family at any community functions. See me? Because they not deal with black people. You see me? You will never see Mr. Chin's son chilling out at a dance with him black friends, because him not have black friends. You'll never see Mr. Chin's daughter at a party with her black friends, because she not keep black friends. You understand? So much for this blood-clad idiot matter out of many one bomber-clad people. No, part of the Chinese culture and history is that they eat dogs, they eat cats, they eat worms, they eat roaches, and they eat lizards. I remember growing up in Kingston. When black people dogs would come up missing, they would blame the Chinese. See? And they would tell us not to go buy lunch from the Chinese restaurants because the Chinese put dog meat in their patties. You see me? I remember seeing a picture in the newspaper that was taken at the back of a Chinese restaurant, and it had dog parts on it.
So there's a video going around of what appears to be a Chinese Jamaican woman really coming for black African people from Jamaica, particularly those of us who live a foreign, in relation to issues of blackness, Africanness, and the possession of a passport or lack thereof. People are sending me this video and ask me what I have to say about it. And the reality is, I have nothing to say to she. Any non-African person from Jamaica or anywhere else in the world that has a problem with Africans from Jamaica, yard or foreign, asserting our Africanness and our blackness, that a feeding problem. This is not something that we should feel the need to justify, apologize for, or even explain, especially when you consider the colonial and neo-colonial experience of African Jamaicans and how that results in the migration of African Jamaicans, as well as the extent to which the colonizer attempted to sever us from a sense of heritage and a sense of culture. That alone tell you everything what you need to know about the mentality of the smaddy when make that the video there. So when I have not more to say about that except to affirm the teachings of Marcus Mosiah Garvey when Africans of his time were being challenged in relation to our affirmation and assertion of racial and cultural pride. Let contrary sentiments and cross opinions go to the winds. We are entitled to our own opinions and not obligated or bound by the opinions of others. Having said that, I was listening to Running African, hosted by Sister Kabo Ma'at Keru Wadeya, and she featured a story on some events and conversations that were taking place in Jamaica on this issue. Take a listen.
You notice that there's a big conversation going on here in Jamaica right now about Mark Golding and whether or not he's black or white. And you heard a response where, we have all kinds of people, because the motto is out of many one. So this is what we're hearing now, right? That, we have Chinese Jamaican, we have Indian Jamaican, and so on. And the person who was speaking, I think it might have been Mr. Morgan himself, called out every other race Jamaican apart from African Jamaican. That in itself was telling.
So it does seem, yes, that the African Jamaicans' assertion and affirmation of our Africanness does seem to make some people very, very uncomfortable, and we should be aware of this and what agenda it serves. But beyond that, make we assert with Africanness and with blackness without fear or favor. And not make nobody make you feel shame or make you feel like you do them something wrong when you assert your blackness and your Africanness. Our heritage and our culture cannot be bound by a passport and cannot be dictated to us by anybody other than ourselves if we are guided by the principle of self-determination.
So you think you're English? You think you're Anglo-Saxon? I wish some of you would go to England and say some of these things to these white people, because they'll quickly put you in your place and tell you to go back to Africa. You are the only ones who don't know where you're from, and it's really sad. Yes, you speak Patois. What do you think Patois is made up of? A lot of it is African words. And if you really want to know what tribes we came from, it's so easy. Just look at the language that we speak, which is Patois. A lot of the words are from the Ashanti tribe. I'm just surprised that a lot of Jamaicans don't know these things. You know, it's basic history, really. But it just shows you how much the education system has failed us, because we don't know ourselves. Most Jamaicans struggle with English. In fact, not just Jamaicans. Most black people in the West who speak the language of their colonizers struggle with the language. That's why you end up with Creole and Patois. We have to mix up the African in there to express ourselves. English is not ours. It belongs to another group of people. Languages are born out of a culture. English didn't come from us. There are so many simple things that tell us who we are. There's so much African retention around us, including the fact that we speak Patois. It's not rocket science. And it's just shameful to see this display of ignorance on social media. I'm tired of this narrative. It is simply not true. And I don't know where it started. I don't know who is trying to create this propaganda that Africans don't accept us in the diaspora. It is not true. A great majority of them love us and embrace us and want us to come over there and connect with them. Sure, you have a few that may be saying, oh, you know, don't come over here. But I mean, it's one and two, and most of them are just not in their right minds. Just like you have piece of shit Jamaicans, but I'm not going around and saying, oh, Jamaica is hell because you have a few people who aren't very nice. Check the comment section of the last video that I posted. It is full of comments from the continent, all over the continent. Even on Instagram, I have 50,000 followers on Instagram. About 90% of them are Africans. Africans love us, especially Jamaicans. Okay, maybe they don't like Black Americans so much, right? And you can understand, you know, I love my Black American brothers and sisters, but y'all are hard to deal with sometimes, especially when you come to other places where other African people are. You know, you come with your entitlement, you come with your attitude, you come with your complaining. Like, it's very difficult to deal with y'all because you're American, you know, and that's just the truth. But we love in the same way, you know, but it's just hard to deal with. But Africans love Jamaicans. They love Jamaicans. Ghana, they act just like us. They actually act like us. That's how much they love us. Come on. And the rest of Ethiopia.
A number of people have tagged me in a video with this woman talking about, you know, Jamaicans, they are foreign attack, this and that, and if you don't have a Jamaican passport, you are not Jamaican. Listen, I'm gonna do an in-depth video on my YouTube channel, but let me just say this for now. A whole lot of y'all were in my comments defending this woman when she said we are a bunch of dunce. Like on love to do with light bright people, a bunch of on run come to come rescue her because she is only talking about the accent. It was never about the accent, and with every other video she's making it very clear, it's not about the accent. It's always been about erasing our African identity, because if we cling to our African identity, then we disrupt this picture of the racial harmony that they want to create. And without this picture of the racial harmony, then they feel that their positions of power at the top of the social hierarchy is threatened. So now she feels emboldened to tell y'all who is Jamaican and who isn't. I'm not gonna stitch any more of that content or say anything more about it, because it looks like she's posting through other people, and I personally want to address her directly. So I'm not gonna stitch any more of that content, because if she's hiding her identity, then you can't confront her. So it's a waste of time. She's just seeking attention. Anyway, in the same way, I will not be schooled about what my language is or what my identity is. I'm not going to be schooled by any light bright about who I am or whether or not I'm Jamaican. Y'all are going to have to sit with the fact that someone whose ancestors came to Jamaica for economic benefit is able to tell the descendants of the people whose blood was shed for the freedom of this country that they are not Jamaicans.
Jamaica is not an African nation. It's not a black country. We identify as an ethnically diverse society. People, please just stop it. Out of many, one people, Jamaicans. We do not hyphenate and we do not encourage separation by race. Number 2, this one's mine. This is my granny one. This one is my mom's. And this is grandpa. If you are planning a trip to Jamaica and you don't own one of these, you're going to have to book a return flight from where you came. These are the rules. I'm just laying it down for you. If you go to Jamaica and you don't have one of these, immigration will stamp your passport and give you a set amount of time that you're allowed to stay in Jamaica. And if you overstay, you're welcome. We put you back on a plane.
We suffer every day. Can you imagine? We have been here for centuries and we're still lagging around. If we to start a business in Jamaica, it's one of the hardest things to start a business. While the Chinaman come from China, come to Jamaica, start a business, non-tax for 5 years. And by the time the 5 years coming in to start pay tax, he making cousin and he never and he uncle come and him gone. So, and listen.
Y'all, pray for our people in Jamaica. What? Them Chinese people is taking them through there. What is going on? Y'all told us y'all own them beaches. Y'all told us y'all own Jamaica. Y'all told us y'all... Child, I need my black Jamaicans to get in the comments and let us know what is going on out there. Shoot.
Number 1, Jamaica is not an African nation. It's not a black country. We identify as an ethnically diverse society. People, please just stop it. Out of many, one people, Jamaicans. We do not hyphenate and we do not encourage separation by race. Number 2, this one's mine.
You see, one thing about history that you have to know, you always have to open your mind to learn new things that you don't know. Because you meet people that will come with their own versions of the history. However, when it gets to a certain level, you will notice that, Charlie, this thing is getting a little bit biased. And with this particular video, for instance, I was with this woman. But then I saw another video where she was being a little bit biased, where she was talking about the accent of the Jamaicans. The way she framed the whole thing, she made it look like it was mainly influenced by the Irish people and a little bit of the Asians, you understand me, without the Africans. And I mean, we all know the genesis of the whole patois. It's true, Jamaica is a collection of different cultures, of different people. But when you look at the population, nobody should tell you that Africans were dominant, apart from the original inhabitants of the land, the Red Ware people, who are the ancestors of the Tainos. Over 900,000 people were brought to this place, most popularly West Africa. The only non-African group of people that dominated the area, apart from the Africans, were the Irish people, who were brought in the 1600s by the British people after they conquered their land. Now, for those of you who don't know, Ireland was the first country to be colonized by the British, even before coming to Africa. But then, unlike the Africans, they came as indentured servants. They signed contracts to work in Jamaica, and that is where they formed what is called the Hiberno English, which is what they brought to Jamaica. Due to proximity and the way they were working with them on the plantation, they taught the West African people who were speaking the Pidgin and the Creole this type of English. This is what they mixed together and then came up with the patois. Now, these Chinese and the Indian people, they came around 1854 after the abolition of the slave trade in 1834, when most of the black people stopped working on the plantation. These Asians were brought to come and replace them. So they also came in as indentured servants. They contributed with their food, the Chinese cuisine and all of that. And then the music. You can't talk about reggae and ska without people like Byron Lee, Even though the rhythm and the pattern came from Africa, the instruments and the studio that they recorded came from these people, the Chinese people. But don't make it look like you played a huge role than anybody. You people are like 1.2.
The Chinese pretty much own Jamaica. I mean, the Jamaican government is giving them concessions, land concessions. They're building hotels, beach resorts. They're building 2 schools for the Japanese, for the Jamaicans. And what the Jamaicans have to give them in turn is the right to certain lands, the right to certain waterways. And if it doesn't stop, Jamaica, ironically, the land of Marcus Garvey and Bob Marley, will be the first Chinese colony in the Caribbean.
Wow.
It's getting bad. And you know why it's happening? Because the black bourgeoisie leadership in both Africa and the Caribbean, they don't have to live with the consequences of the economic decisions they make.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I hope you have just watched that full video. So guys, the first thing I want to ask is this. Who decide who is Jamaica? Is it a passport? Is it where you were born? Is it your parents? Is it your culture? Or is it all those things together? That is not an easy question, is it? Because identity is personal, it's emotional, and for many people it's something worth defending. One of the biggest controversies came from the claim that the Jamaican's accent is mainly influenced by Irish ancestry rather than African roots. Now Jamaica's history is complex, and scholars recognized influence from several cultures. At the same time, many historians explain that Jamaica patois developed larger through the experience of enslaved West Africans interacting with English during the colonial period. That is one reason so many people pushed back against the original claim. So, let me ask you something. Can anyone tell Jamaican story without talking about Africa? Personally, I don't think that is possible. When people think of Jamaica, they think of reggae, resilience, athletic greatness, rich traditionals, and a culture shaped by many influences over centuries. Africa is an important part of that story. Even while Jamaica has also been shaped by many other communities. Here is a serious quote, I really like it. When you erase history, you erase understanding. That quote reminds us why history matters. But here is another question. Can you celebrate one culture without disrespecting another one? I believe you can. Jamaica is home to people with African, Chinese, Indian, Lebanese, European, and many other backgrounds. Every community has added something valuable to the island. The challenge is making sure no one's contribution is ignored. Now let's talk about another statement that caused a lot of debates. The idea that if you don't have a Jamaican passport, you are not truly Jamaican. Really? If you don't have passport, you are not truly Jamaican. Is that... What about someone born in England to Jamaican parents? What about someone living in Canada who still speaks patois? Cooks Jamaican's food every weekend? Listening to reggae every day? And send money home to family? Are they suddenly less Jamaican? That is a question only you can answer. Here is a funny quote for you. You can take the Jamaican out of Jamaica, but good luck taking Jamaica out of the Jamaican. I think a lot of people in the diaspora would smile at that one. And here is something from real life. Look at the Jamaican athletes who compete around the world. Many trains overseas, some lives abroad for years. Yet, when they step onto track, wearing the black, green and gold, millions of Jamaicans proudly cheers them on. That tells you something. Identity is not always measured by where you sleep at night. It's often measured by the connection you carry in your heart. Another issue people discussed was wealth and influence. Some reaction raised concern about who owns businesses, who has economic powers, and how different communities are perceived. This conversation can become emotional very quickly. But let me ask this. Can we talk about difficult issue without attacking each other personally? I hope so. Because once respect disappears, meaningful conversation usually disappears too. Here is another quote that fits perfectly. Strong opinions build debates. Strong character builds nations. Think about that. It's okay to disagree. It's okay to challenge ideas. But it's even more important to listen. This entire discussion reminds me of debates that happen in countries like the United States, Canada, and the United Kingdom. People ask questions like, who is really American? Or who is truly British? These conversations aren't unique to Jamaica. Yes, they aren't unique to Jamaica. Identity has always been one of the most complicated subjects in the world. And I agree, it has been most complicated. Before I finish, let me leave you with this one final question. If someone loves Jamaica, respects its history, contributes to its future, and stand with its people through good time and bad, does that make them Jamaican? Or does a passport alone answer that question? I do genuinely love to hear what you think. One thing we can all agree on this: Jamaica's history is rich. Its culture is powerful. Its people are passionate. And conversations like this remind us how deeply people care about their identity. So, drop your thoughts in the comment section below. But let's keep the discussion respectfully. Remember this quote: respect costs nothing, but it can be worth everything. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. I'll see you in the next reaction. Thank you.